Okay, let's just jump right into this. Something weird happened in April 2026. A whole bunch of major events in tech, finance, and even gaming all went down in the same month. On the surface, they look totally random, but what if they're not? Today, we're going to connect the dots and figure out what it all really means.
It all kicked off when this bombshell dropped. The entire source code for Anthropic's Claude-Code, one of the most advanced AI coding assistants out there, was just accidentally posted online for the whole world to download.
Then you have Tesla. I mean, the company whose entire brand was built on the Model S and Model X, their flagship luxury cars. Out of nowhere, they announced they were stopping all new orders. Just like that.
At the very same time, the crypto world was absolutely buzzing. A huge bill that everyone had been watching, the Clarity Act, was finally moving forward. This was the one that promised to end the regulatory chaos of the last 10 years. And while all this high-tech, high-finance drama was unfolding, a quiet revolution was happening in the background. A genre of video games called cozy games was seeing just insane, explosive growth, hinting at a huge shift in what we want from our screens.
So you gotta ask, right? Is this all just one big coincidence? 4 separate stories? Or are they all connected, pointing to something way, way bigger that's happening just beneath the surface? Let's break it down.
All right, let's start with that first thread, the AI leak. Because what makes this so interesting is that it wasn't some shadowy hacker group. It was, in a way, an inside job by accident.
512,000. That is how many lines of source code were exposed in just one file. And we're not talking about some simple app here. This was the entire DNA, the complete architectural blueprint of a state-of-the-art AI.
So how did this even happen? Well, it wasn't a sophisticated hack. It was a simple human mistake in the software assembly line. A developer basically forgot to remove the source maps. You can think of those as the detailed schematics or the instruction manual. And suddenly, the keys to the kingdom were just out there.
And what people found inside was just wild. There was a secret self-defense mechanism called anti-distillation, basically designed to stop other AIs from copying it. There were unreleased features, like a cute little buddy AI pet, and something called Kairos mode for really long, complex jobs. This thing wasn't just a tool. It was a complex system designed to manage other systems. As one developer who dug through all the code put it, the whole thing was both inspiring and humbling. So here's the takeaway. This league proved that AI had graduated. These weren't just simple chatbots anymore. They were full-blown industrial-strength development platforms. Okay, so keep that in your head. AI is getting incredibly complex because at the exact same time, Tesla made a move that just shocked the entire auto industry. They weren't just ditching a car, they were shedding their entire identity. And this lays it out perfectly. Tesla was openly shifting from being a luxury EV company that sells cars to people to becoming an AI and robotics company that sells autonomy as a service. The new star of the show wasn't a car anymore. It was the Optimus robot and the robotaxi fleet. And this wasn't just some press release either. They really did it. They shut down orders and immediately started ripping out the production lines for their cars to build humanoid robots instead. Their new goal? 1 million robots per year. Think about that. They were betting the entire farm on a future run by autonomous machines. So you've got these super smart digital brains, and you've got the robots they're going to live in. But for all of that to work on a massive scale, you need 2 things, the money and the rules. And that, my friends, is where our third piece of the puzzle slots right in. In early 2026, Ethereum was just on fire. It was this perfect storm of growth. You had a massive tech upgrade coming that would dramatically speed things up. You had billions, with a B, of institutional money flooding in through new ETFs, and it was becoming the go-to platform for putting real-world assets like real estate on the blockchain. The tracks for a whole new kind of economy were being laid down right in front of our eyes. But the real game changer was legal. The Clarity Act was finally about to end the decade-long turf war between the big financial regulators. For the first time ever, the rules of the road for digital assets were about to be crystal clear. It was basically the government giving a giant green light to the whole industry.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got smarter AIs, we've got smarter machines, and we have smarter rules to govern them. But what about us, the humans who have to live with all this?
Well, that leads us to the final and maybe the most surprising piece of this whole puzzle, a cultural revolution happening in video games.
675%. That is how much the market for so-called cozy games had grown in just 6 years. And let's be clear, this wasn't some tiny little niche trend. This was a massive signpost pointing to a deep structural shift in what people want from technology.
By 2026, it was already a market worth nearly $1 billion. This wasn't just a few people playing farming games. This was millions of us making a conscious choice to turn away from high-stress competitive games and actively seek out something completely different.
And the recipe for these games is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You design them to minimize stress. There's no way to fail, no high-stakes combat. They give you immediate little rewards, so even 15 minutes feels productive. And they focus on these small, meaningful interactions in a world you can actually control. And this wave was hitting its peak right in 2026, with a whole slate of huge, highly anticipated titles all leaning into this low-stress, cozy format. The culture was sending a very clear message: we're tired of complexity and conflict, we want simplicity and a sense of humanity. So let's bring it all together. You've got the AI leak, Tesla's massive pivot, that landmark crypto law, and this huge trend in gaming. What happens when you stop looking at them as 4 separate events and you start seeing them as one big picture?
You get this powerful, undeniable convergence. The technology to create these autonomous systems is here and getting smarter. That's the AI leak. The industrial will to actually deploy them at a massive scale is here. That's Tesla's pivot. The legal framework to let it all happen is falling into place. That's the Clarity Act. But here's the most important part. As our world gets more automated and complex, our human need for simplicity, control, and meaning isn't just a preference. It's becoming a dominant cultural force. These weren't 4 separate stories. They were the first 4 chapters of the same story. A story about a world hurtling toward automation while its people are searching for an escape from it. The tech, the industry, and the law are all ready to go. So the real question isn't just what happens next, it's when the AI builds the robots and the law enables them and the culture is crying out for a break from them, what will be left for us to do?